Early morning intuitive guidance. We'll get the streaming software connected to Instagram here, and then we're off and running. I've got an interesting read for us today. Let's see what y'all think. All right. So, welcome. Glad you're here. I missed you all for the weekend. It was lovely taking care of my granddaughter, but holy buckets, am I tired. Good morning, Abigail. Welcome. Glad you are here, bringing your daisies with you. Love it. So, good morning, Gwen. Welcome. We'll give it a minute here for the Practical Rebels to pop on board. There's Barb. Good morning. And after you're all here, I've got a blog post I want to read from someone named Carol Seymour. It's her August 6th blog post. So it's been out there for a while, but it's getting a lot of interesting support, which makes sense to me given her topic. So we'll talk about that. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. Glad you're here. And then I have a few. I think part of the reason her post connected with me was it's right where I'm at in this discernment period. Good morning to those of you whose names aren't rolling. Glad to have you here. In this discernment period where it's really not about the doing at all. It's about being still enough to hear the little whispers that are saying, okay, things are changing. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome. And things are changing, and you need to roll with that. So let's start with some tapping and some breath, right? And I think let's do a whole round of the tapping. Maybe there'll be words, maybe there won't be words, but kind of like a gigantic reset, which fits in for all that's been going on recently, including eclipses. We are right between two eclipses right now. We've done the solar eclipse, and now the lunar eclipse will be coming up, but that's a very pregnant period of time. So we might as well do some good with it, right? So start with the side of the hand by the baby finger. Karate chop spot. Good morning, Miss O'Neill. I was wondering where you were hiding. And some nice deep breaths in and out. And as we move through the spots, make sure you keep breathing deeply in and out. And again, we may have words with our spots, we may not. But here we go. Inside corner of the eyebrow. Outside corner of the eye. Willing to change. Under the eye. Open to change. Under the nose. Curious about change. Under the mouth, what changes are calling to you? And water, all kinds of water there. Emotions. Check in with your emotions. And so what I was just going to say was there were some questions that I answered from a different coach I know that were very helpful, and she has her own variation of the what are you pretending not to know question, and I got some interesting results with that. Under the arms, like where your bra strap runs across, and around the crown of the head. And a nice deep breath in and out. And I want you to just sit with yourself for a moment. Just notice. Scanning your body from head to toe. Just be the observer. What do you notice? I notice my arms are sore from carrying a 15-pound baby around for 3 days. Notice my back is a little sore from all the bouncing. What do you notice? Are there areas of stillness in your body? Areas of your body that are at peace? And are there areas that are kind of on the fritz, kind of like Jo Neal's air conditioner? And oh, Lord, what a mess. That does not sound like fun. But again, emotion. It's well worth the effort to take a few minutes and explore What is this trying to tell me about my emotions? Where am I at with my emotions? Which ones am I accepting? Which ones have I been trying to outrun? So speaking of running, this is actually walking, but the article that I want to read you is called Why Women Over 60 Are Quietly Walking Away from the Lives They Built. Now, you might say, well, I'm a man over 60, so it isn't relevant. Or I'm a woman under 60, so it isn't relevant. No, 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 no. There's relevance in everything. We just need to find what's relevant for us. So there were some aspects of this that, yeah, didn't resonate for me, but there were other aspects that really did. So I want to give us all a chance to quietly ponder her words. This is Carol Seymour, and see what resonates for you. Why women over 60 are quietly walking away from the lives they've built. There's no slammed door, just a quiet decision and a life that finally feels like yours. So here's the post. See, just notice how it feels to you. Notice if it kind of stirs up the oh shit thing for you. Yes, they did come back to fix the basement. They need to have their supervisor address a few things, but he's out because his mom passed away. So it may be a couple of days until I hear back. Thank you for asking. But we're making headway. And this article and those questions from I think it was Susan Tetford, really made me think. Let me check just to be sure. Telford, Telford. And some comments from a coffee date I had with a 77-year-old woman who was a significant part of a community land trust in Door County that has built housing. So picked her brain, learned some useful things. So here we go. Nobody hears the moment a woman decides she's had enough. There's no slammed door, no suitcase hurled into the trunk, no speech over Sunday dinner. She's just standing at the sink, quietly washing the same plate she's washed 1,000 times, and something goes still in her. Or she's out on the porch before daylight with her coffee, listening to the world drag itself awake, and she catches herself thinking a thought she used to be too busy or too scared to finish. Is this still the life I want? Is this still the life I want? And my answer is no. So let us continue. And actually, this woman's tagline on Substack is the gray camper van writer. The gray camper van writer. Good morning, Nancy. Glad you're here. I just thought that was amazing. Amazing, amazing. So here we go. Is this still the life I want? She spent 40 years building this thing. The house, the marriage, the routine that runs whether she pays attention or not. And now she's looking at it in a strange coat, looking at it like a strange coat she picked up by mistake. So women our age start walking. Not always out of the house, not always out of the marriage. Sometimes it's the expectations we walk out on. I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. The ones that kept us penned up inside the life the whole time. We're done keeping a spotless house nobody comes to see. I was never very good at that one. Done saving the good dishes for a company that never shows. I no longer have good dishes. I sold those off. Done hanging on to clothes we'll never wear, paying for rooms we never sit in. To me, dining rooms are some of the most useless rooms we have. Dusting stuff we never loved in the first place. How many of you have gifts that you got for your wedding and you didn't like them when you got them, but you still have them? They need to go. They need to go. But you already knew it goes deeper than clutter. A lot of us were raised to believe a good woman keeps everybody else comfortable. You swallow the anger, you stretch the money till it screams, you show up bone tired, and you smile with your heart cracked open. You're the cook, the caretaker, the peacemaker, the one everybody calls when their own life catches fire. And then one morning you're 60, and it lands on you like a dropped skillet. Nobody ever once has asked what you wanted. That'll make a woman look around at everything she's worked for and wonder how the hell she ended up a guest in her own life. I know that feeling. I've had it standing right there in my own kitchen. At this age, I don't want one more thing to take care of. I want the mornings back. My morning is sacred. I don't want anything messing with my early morning, right? I want to sit on my porch and let the cicadas roar and not feel 1 ounce of guilt that I'm not inside being productive. That is a transition when people retire, which is why I think it was so good for me to do semi-retirement, because to go from 60 to 0 is kind of like hitting a wall. I want enough money to live on, enough food, a safe place to lay my head. After that, peace. Plain old peace. It's worth more to me now than any front room anybody ever admired. Because women our age know how fast it all turns. We've buried parents, friends, husbands. Some of us have buried our own children, God help us. We've watched strong bodies go soft and slow, and we've learned the hard way that the road ahead isn't as long as we used to pretend. There is less of it in front of us than behind us. That's not a pretty thing to say out loud, but it will set you free. It will get you to stop waiting for the right time to do the things you want to do, to be the person you want to be, to say the things you want to say. It gets harder to waste another whole year impressing people who wouldn't sit beside you in a hospital room. Harder to keep hauling old grudges, unpaid debts, dead relationships, and boxes of someone else's memories from one season into the next like it's the family silver. And get rid of the family silver too. Who needs that? Unless you're going to use it every day. We're not giving up. We're getting honest. There's a difference. And it took most of 6 decades to feel it. Some women are selling the big house and moving into a little apartment that fits. Some are buying campers and taking to the road that they've been dreaming about since they were girls. Some aren't going anywhere at all. They're just learning to say no without stapling a 3-page apology to it. They're cutting their hair short, planting gardens, taking in cats nobody wants, starting businesses, writing the stories they used to be too afraid to tell. Secondhand furniture, quiet mornings, fewer people to answer to, including the deluded self that came up with the idea that I have to go along to get along and I have to rise to this level of success to be worth anything and all the other bullshit. From the outside, it can look like the life is shrinking. But sometimes a smaller life is the only one with enough room left to breathe in. Let me read that one again. I love that. But sometimes a smaller life is the only one with enough room left to breathe in. I will tell you that as I kicked out 2 of the things that were sucking up most of my time and energy and really creating more heat than light, I found more space. So my life may have looked smaller to some untrained eyes, but I found more space, which is exactly what I needed. I'm learning the word no. Yes, 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 yes. The good. And the word yes to the things that you've wanted but maybe have put off or not done or whatever. Drag out that bucket list. Maybe look at it again, because if it's a bucket list from your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it may not have the things on it that you in your 60s or beyond want there. Reframe the bucket list if necessary. Walking away does not always mean leaving everything behind. Sometimes it just means leaving behind the woman you were told you had to be. I'm done building a life that looks good in a photo. I want one that feels like mine once and for all. And if you're over 60 and quietly turning that question over in your head, you're not ungrateful. You're not selfish. You're not lost. You just finally started listening. So I thought that was pretty good. It's Gray Camper Van Writer is where she's on Substack. So to that end, I'm going to give you the questions, not necessarily my answers, because I want you to come up with your answers from the Susan Telford thing. So the first one is, what do I really, really want? What do I really, really want? And some of the things that I put on there were answers I would have given a year ago, 5 years ago, whatever. And some of them just popped into beingness right now. So that's the first question. What do I really, really want? Second one, what do I reach for when my knowing gets uncomfortable? What do I reach for when my knowing gets uncomfortable? What common things do you fall back into? Phone games, whatever, all the things. You know yours, chocolate. Third one, here's her variation of my famous question. What am I trying not to know? What am I trying not to know? And then the last one is, what are some small steps toward the life that is calling you? What are some small steps towards the life that is calling you? So what really goosed me on my way here, and I was kind of smiling as I was headed home from this. So the woman who was integral in helping create the Community Land Trust in Door County and getting affordable housing that will stay affordable in perpetuity built. She's 77. She ain't pulling any punches, and I was very glad she did not, because it doesn't help when you blow sunshine up someone's skirt. That just is not useful. But you do get to decide whether or not you want to engage with somebody and really go to the depths. So, went to coffee with this woman, Diana. And after I had heard her talk, share just a few things, and I could sense she was holding back at a meeting. It was her first time at that meeting about housing. I invited her to coffee. And when we got together, I asked her a bunch of questions about what she had done, because I wanted to learn from her. I really went into it with a student mindset. I'm sitting at the feet of someone who's done this stuff. Pick her brain, pick her brain. So I asked her a bunch of questions and told her what I was up to and what I've been working on the last 7 years. And her comment was, "You're a whirlwind, but you're wasting your energy. Until you have other people on board, it's going nowhere. It's going nowhere." And was that painful to hear? Absolutely so. Do I believe it's truth? Yes, because I keep banging my head against the same walls and arriving nowhere other than with a bloody forehead. And I can see that this is a group effort. And many of us are really shitty at group efforts. We've so valued the independence thing, and it's been so over romanticized and not really looking at what are the costs of this independence thing, instead of having interdependence. How do we work together, right? So she said, you might want to take some time off and just be, see what comes to you. And I've done this in small, I went, did an overnight up at Flo's. That was fabulous. The prior, when was that? Was that February? I don't even remember. We had 3 or 4 days together. That was fabulous. Yep. And I remember, I'm sure all of you remember those grade school and middle school and high school projects that you worked on as a group, and it was so dissatisfying. So dissatisfying. They thought it was going to teach us how to work as a group without really instructing us on the process of how do you do this. That's why, again, I'm all about the dynamic self-governance. Give people the tools to work together. If we don't know how we're going to address conflicts, if we don't know how we're going to work through differences of opinion, how the hell do you think we're going to accomplish this? We need the tools. So dynamic self-governance, also known as sociocracy, Ted Rau, R-A-U, and let's see, what's the other guy? Jerry Gonzalez. They have written multiple books that have been helpful. Who decides who decides? What a great way to post the question, right? Who decides who decides? And in that process, everyone has a stake in who decides. So, so anyway, going back to my process here, again, I love process. Let go of the outcomes, focus on the process. How are we doing this thing? What's going to work to move the needle forward as a group? Might this not be exactly what I want as an individual? True. But if it moves the whole group forward and I can accept it, fabulous. Somewhere else down the line, maybe what I advocated will be the one that's picked. Let's work on our skills here in terms of functioning as a group. Either that, or I think we need to rename the country and get rid of the word united, because we ain't doing a great job of it. We fight with each other over it and hope that someone wins and the winner can lead the course. And no, then you've got all the people who lost, who are subtly and not so subtly driving dissent, as opposed to a process where everyone comes to the place where they can say, good enough for now, safe enough to try. Let's do this thing. So for myself, let's do this thing. What am I going to be doing? First, I had the thought, well, I'll take a month off. I won't do anything. I'll just take a month off and sit around and contemplate my navel and see what the universe offers me. Then I looked at my schedule. So that's not likely to happen. But I certainly can do some things. I can take some chunks of days off. I can say no to the things that just really aren't jazzing me up. They're not moving me where I'm excited to go. Again, with less time in front of me as there is behind me, I can be rather selfish, I think, about, no, I don't want to do that. No, that's not my idea of a great time. No, that doesn't interest me. No, but good luck. Have fun. Go for it. If I took some days off, what would I want to do? I want to do some day trips. I don't want to go. I mean, I've done the Iceland, the Caribbean, the all, Europe, blah, blah, all over the place. That's not what's calling to me right now. What's calling to me is little day trips. So I might Airbnb for a couple of days. I feel like I need to be around big bodies of water. So Lake Superior may get a visit. We'll see. The Great Lakes are a wonderful, energetic option at this point. I might sleep in. Sleeping in for me might be something along the lines of 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Yep. Time by water. Yep. The list needs to grow. There needs to be more things on there. But again, and it is wild to me that sometimes we have to provoke this kind of thinking in ourselves by catastrophizing. Well, what if you found out you only had a year to live? What would you do? It's still a useful question to ask. It can be hard to get in the mindset, though. But for many of us in our 60s, we can hearken back to health scares, to losing someone else. When my mother passed away, she was 84. One of the last laments that she had was, I haven't done everything I wanted to do. But she was very much in denial about how much time she had left to do it. So let's get out of denial. Let's look at, what do we got left? And the person, I can't remember who said this, but the person who said, your 80s and 90s are not your golden years. That's where you're sliding toward the grave, if you want to look at it that way. Younger, 70s, 60s, 70s, do the things you want to do then, when you still have the capacity to do them. And for some of us in our 60s and 70s, we don't have the capacity either. When I went to visit my friend's mom in the nursing facility, there were people there in their 40s, their 50s, all the way up. Did they assume they were going to end up there? Probably not. But you never know when the slip and fall happens. You never know when the car accident happens. You never know when a stroke happens. So, what are you doing today to live the life you want to live instead of waiting for the divine right timing, which, if we choose to do it, that is the divine right timing. Okay, here's the week. What do you have for some pockets of time in your week this week where you could do some things? Is there a coffee shop you've never been to? Is there a park in town you've never been to? Is there a body of water nearby that you can go and sit by? Have you journaled recently? Grab a journal. Grab a journal, write some stuff down. Even if it's, I have no idea what to write, I have no idea what to write, I have no idea what to write. Then a thought will pop in. My left foot itches. Put that in there. Whatever comes up. But do it now. Do it now. Mary Kay Ash had what she called the Din Din Club. Do it now. Do it now. Rather than waiting, do it now. And my addition to her call is don't think, just do it. Don't think, just do it. Don't think, just do it. I can't tell you how many things I drove to saying that to myself out loud. Don't think, just do it. Don't think, just do it. Because if I allow myself to think, I talk myself out of it. Well, I could do it tomorrow, or maybe I really don't want to do this, or meh. And then you miss out on all those opportunities because of that anticipatory anxiety. Kick that to the curb. Don't think, just do it. Don't think, just do it. So I'm hoping why women over 60 are quietly walking away from the lives they've built stirs something in you. Yes, Diane has a new beginning on her horizon. This is her last week of work. It's retirement budding week. Yes. So, how about for you? How about for you? I would love to hear during the course of the week, come on to another YEMIG and put in the feed something you did the day before that had been on your radar screen for a long time, but you never did it. And now you've done it. Whatever it is. I sat on my front porch with a cup of coffee and listened to the birds. Amen. Hallelujah. That's fabulous. Little things. And know that I'm right in this process of discernment with you. I'm walking this at the very same time because more stuff is going to get chucked in the fuck it bucket. I'm just not going to be doing all of this anymore. And obligation needs to get kicked to the curb. I need to, there's a lot of things I will continue to do, but if I'm doing something merely out of obligation, not a good idea. I need to find, if I'm going to continue to do it, I need to find other reasons why I'm doing it. So that's it for today. I hope the 13 of you who are on here live take something away from this. Maybe have a conversation with somebody. Wouldn't that be interesting? You wrote the letter and burned it. Yes. Awesome. Do the thing. Do the thing. Talk to somebody about doing the thing. So whatever it is. And if you're not sure, you might need to take to wandering. Put on your red ball jets and go hop on your bike and go for a ride and see where the bike takes you. Go for a walk, see where your feet take you. Go for a drive, see where the car takes you. Looks more interesting to this direction than that direction. That's where I'm going to go. Try it. Just do it. Even if you're only gone a half an hour, do it. And then what did you learn? We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Aren't we all? Bye-bye.